I should have had you right after Cleo there, you know?
Yeah, can I make a comment this way? Since I had Cleo 3 or 4 times this year officiating, and I'm likely to get him next year, I would like to cast my vote that he's one of the best officials.
That's what he told me earlier. He saw you. He's the best ever. So he is too, by the way. All right, you're upstate. You grew up in upstate New York. Am I pronouncing this wrong? Elfrida?
Well, Elfrida's here.
Elfrida. That's what I mean. Upstate. You came down here
Right.
to Valley Union High School. How did that happen?
Well, first, I went to school at Slippery Rock State College in Pennsylvania. I came out here to be a grad student at the U of A, and then 4 days before school started the next year, I still didn't have a job. And Elfrida needed a special ed teacher / football coach, JV or freshman or whatever, and / basketball coach. And so they hired me on a Thursday, and I started teaching on Monday. And if anybody doesn't know where Elfrida is, it's about 12 miles north of Douglas. We had 12 teachers. The principal got me a room behind the general store that closed at 6 o'clock. The pay phone in front of the store was the only phone that you could use. I won't tell you anymore.
You go back there every now and then, just take a look at it?
No.
So then, tell how going from there to Valley Union High School to Rincon.
Well, so I taught the year in Elfrida at Valley Union High School, and then I was going to come back to Tucson and stay here. Actually drove a lunch truck the whole next year. I was a roach coach guy. And I was going to volunteer coach. I kind of worked, found out who was where and what, and I was either going to volunteer at Santa Rita for Dave Lynch, or I was going to volunteer at Rincon for Roland Levetter, who was just moving over. He had taken a year off, but he had come from Pueblo, having won 2 state titles. And I wasn't here yet. I came in 79-80, and they won the titles in 77-78. So I was going to volunteer coach. I was, 22? And that was going to work out great. It's going to be under somebody who had a lot of experience, a lot of leadership. And so I worked that out, and about a month before the season started, the JV coach quit. And Roland looked at me and he says, well, you're not going to volunteer anymore, you're going to coach the JVs. And for a 22-year-old and knowing the history of Rincon, that was a pretty big step right there. So I was a JV coach for 8 years under Roland, and then when he stepped aside, I became the varsity coach, and that was 27 years ago. So I'm starting my 36th year at Rincon.
Yeah. 36 years and over 418 wins. That's a long way from Valley Union High School.
Yeah, since we won 2 games at Valley Union. So, yeah, it's a lot of wins, but it's a lot of time. It's really not about how many wins, it's about how many years and how many players you've worked with. I had a couple of communications with previous players who are basketball coaches around the country, and had kind of a little, I don't know, aha moment or whatever, and realized that the losses that you have are just as important. You still spent just as much time with the same kids, doing the same hard amount of work, and even though you don't win the game and it doesn't go down as another one in your 400 or whatever, that as far as your relationship with those kids, it's the losses are every bit as important as the wins.
Since you started coaching, are the kids about the same now or a little different?
They've got iPhones and Pokemon Go, and so the kids might be the same, the world around them is totally different. We have a new athletic director, and I was explaining to him about backpacks. He said something about, we have 2 problems in high school, especially with Rincon is combined with University High, is that A, the backpacks that the kids carry with their books in them won't fit into any locker that you ever saw because of what they're carrying now. And 2, we had a problem that they would keep them in the gym, which that meant all their cell phones were in there going off. So, talk about different problems. So we had to go back and say, hey, those things have to go in the locker room. I don't care where they are in there, but they have to go. can't be in the gym.
Well, you're thinking right now you're only behind Dick McConnell and Brian Peabody for wins in Tucson. That's pretty impressive.
Well, hopefully I'll get by Brian this year. I'd have to coach till I was about 110 to get by Dick. So, you know, I'll just try to be second and be really happy with that. How's that?
All right, thank you. Congratulations.